She sat on the same park bench every Sunday for 30 years. Rain, snow, sun, it didn't matter. She brought a book, a scarf, and a hope that never faded. Not for just anyone, but for one man, the only man she ever loved. This is Eleanor's story. And if you've ever waited for something that felt impossible, this story is for you. It was 1963. Eleanor was 23. She worked at the town's tiny public library just 3 blocks from her parents' house. Life was simple, predictable, gentle. Every Thursday afternoon, a young man named Thomas would check out the same kinds of books: war memoirs, history, and poetry. He rarely said more than a few words, but one day he asked her a question that made her heart skip. "Do you believe 2 people can fall in love before they ever touch?" That was the beginning. They started walking together after her shifts. No dates, no kisses, just slow walks and shared thoughts. He'd talk about wanting to see the world. She talked about never wanting to leave home. One Sunday afternoon, under a blooming cherry blossom tree, he brought her a single wildflower. She pressed it into her diary that night and kept it there for the rest of her life. That was the day he told her he had enlisted. He was being deployed. A few months overseas, he said. Just a few. Then he'd be back. And maybe they'd have that first kiss. She smiled, nodded, and waited. The weeks turned to months, then a year. No letters, no calls. People whispered that his unit was involved in something serious. There were rumors. But no truth ever reached Eleanor. Her mother urged her to move on. Friends tried to set her up with good men, kind men. But she couldn't. There was something about Thomas that no one else had. So she did what she knew. She waited. She returned to the park bench every Sunday. She wore the same rose-colored scarf, the one he once said made her eyes shine. She read his favorite books. She imagined how he'd look older, but she'd never stopped believing he'd return. Eleanor built a quiet life. She took care of her parents until their final days. She became head librarian. She grew older, but never bitter. Some people thought she was lonely, but she wasn't. She had memories. She had faith. She had the cherry blossom tree and the bench and her diary, filled with thoughts she'd never said aloud. And every Sunday, she still went to the park. By now, she was 63. Her hands trembled more when she turned the pages. Her eyes needed glasses. But her heart, it waited the same. It was an ordinary Sunday. The blossoms were late that year. She was sipping tea from her thermos when she felt a presence behind her. A cane tapped softly against the stones. A voice, ragged but familiar, spoke, "You still come here?" She froze, turned slowly, and there he was, older, leaner, scarred. But his eyes were the same. He told her everything. His plane had gone down. He'd survived, but barely. No ID, no name, no memory. He'd spent years in and out of hospitals. It wasn't until he saw a cherry blossom tree in a therapist's book that something inside clicked. A feeling, a name, Eleanor. He found the town. The library was gone. But someone told him about the woman who sat by the cherry tree every Sunday, waiting. They sat together for hours that day. No rush, no anger. She asked no questions. She simply listened and smiled. And as the sun began to set, he reached for her hand, old, wrinkled, but still soft, and said, "I never stopped loving you, even when I didn't remember. Something in me waited." She leaned forward, tears gently trailing down her cheeks, and there, under the cherry blossoms, 30 years later, he kissed her. It wasn't the kiss of youth. It was the kiss of a promise kept, a heart unshaken, a love beyond time. Eleanor didn't waste 30 years. She lived them with purpose, with quiet faith, with hope. Because sometimes love isn't about how fast it happens. It's about how long you're willing to believe in it. And for Eleanor, it was worth every Sunday.